All right, class, today is Tuesday. This is our math video. So as I told you before, this lesson kind of builds off, it's really the next lesson that builds off of Monday's, but you need both of these to understand tomorrow's lesson, okay? So we're gonna just go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm gonna show you, we're gonna start working with graphs. So a couple things you need to know before I get into some actual examples is what these are, okay? So these are called quadrants. You have your graph set up and they're called quadrants. So quadrant 1 is all the way on the right. It's the top right. It's where both your x and your y are positive. So you have your x and your y, and they're ordered like this, x, y. They're both positive, that's quadrant 1. Then you move to the left, it moves in a circle, kind of like in a giant C shape. So you move to the left, your x is now negative, and your y is still positive, and this is quadrant 2. Okay, if you move down, both of your integers would be negative, and it is quadrant 3. And then you move over, so you still have your positive x and your negative y, and that's quadrant 4. So when you look at the x, so this line right here, this horizontal line is your x-axis. That's where all of your x points are counted, all right? Anything to this side of the middle line, anything to this side is going to be positive, and anything to this side is going to be negative. All right, and then you have your y-axis. So everything on this line that you're counting up or down. When you go up from the middle point, it's going to be positive. When you go down, it's going to be negative. So if you see, both of these are below this axis, and they're both negative. Both of these are above, and they're both positive. For this one, if you're looking at the x-axis on this side, both of these are this way, and they're both positive. Both of these are this way, and they're both negative, okay? So that's a quick little introduction. I'm gonna start you off with some examples. Now, this first example is from your reteaching, okay? So let's take a look. We're gonna find out where all of these are placed. So let me get my pen so y'all can see it. We're going to start with P, because alphabetically that's the first one. So for P, what you have to do is you go across and then up or down. So you go along this line and then along this line. So if we go over, we have 1, 2, 3. So this line, we're going to have our parentheses. It's at 3. And then if we count up from here, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4. So this point, the coordinates are 3, 4. Moving over to Q, remember anything left of this line is going to be negative for the x. So I'm going backwards, 1, 2, 3. So this is going to be negative 3. And then I still go up 1. Anything above this line is positive. So I'm going up 1, so it's negative 3, 1. Okay? If we look at R is going to be over here. So if we look at R, again, we have to go backwards. So we're going backwards 1. That's negative 1. And then we're going 1, 2. We have negative 2. All right? And if you can see how I have it so far, you have positive, positive, quadrant 1. Negative, positive, quadrant 2. Negative, negative, quadrant 3. And as we talked about, this is positive, negative. So if I look at S is actually along this line. So this is 0 for both. It's 0 this way and the 0 this way. So S is actually on the 0 for X, for the X-axis. See how I have that written? It's actually along the 0. So you have 0, and then it goes down 1, 2, 3, 4. So I have negative 4. Okay? Makes sense? So now we're going to go this one. You have a lot more on your page, but it is from your worksheet for today. It's off of that grid that you see right there. I only put the 2 points on there because those are the only ones I'm going over on this video, okay? So you can see I put the A point and the B point where they're supposed to be from according to that grid. So let's do this one together. You have backwards 1, 2, 3. So A, the X point is at negative 3, and then you go up 2. So I have -3, comma, +2. That should be, that I wrote in pen, that should be exactly what you have on your paper for your answers. Parentheses, -3, comma, 2, parentheses. This is what you call an ordered pair. So it's in the order that you would do it for the graph. So if I gave the point 3, -2, then I would go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So this is X, this is Y, all the time, okay? So for this one, it's going to be, we go over 2, so it's +2, because we went to the right of that middle line, and then we went down 1, so it's -1, okay? So your answer should be parentheses 2, comma, -1, parentheses. All right, so that's that first portion on there. Now, if you look at the second part where it says 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, I have also put up the first 2 here. Okay, so it says, name the point for each ordered pair and the quadrant or axis on which it lies. So, if I'm looking at this, the first one says 1, -4. So again, if I have 1, -4, that looks like a 2. If I have 1, -4, then I know I'm going over 1 and then down 1, 2, 3, 4. So my point is H, number 7 is H, and we know that it goes quadrant 1, 2, 3, and 4, which you can see up here. 1, 2, 3, and 4. I was looking backwards in the camera. So this would be quadrant 4. So your answer should be H, and then quadrant 4. Okay? And number 8, as you can already assume, it's L, but we're going to still do it so you know how. So I'm going over 4 and up 5 because they're both positive. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have L. And because they're both positive, I know that this is quadrant 1. All right? So you guys should be able to do the rest of this page, but if you have any questions, please let me know, okay?